So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Tornadus. This is going to be everywhere. We've been using Murkrow and Talonflame in the previous regulations. Now we get access to Tornadus again, everyone's going to be using it at the start. It might fall off a little bit at the end, but definitely at the start, people are going to be using it, for sure. Prankster Tailwind is very, very valuable. And this can do it with a lot of special attack behind it as well, a lot of speed if necessary. But I think the best way to run Tornadus is probably bulking it out. Because now that you have access to the Covert Cloak, you don't need to protect on a fake out or anything. You can just get away with attacks every turn, and because you want to be getting away with attacks every turn, you want to be able to stay on the field and do what you need. So you can definitely just go max speed, max special attack and do some good damage as well. It's going to do some very good damage, but in my opinion, bulking it out is the way to go. So yeah, now it gets access to a new attack, which it didn't need, and it's going to be really annoying because it's decent. But it's inconsistent. It's super inconsistent. It's base 80 accuracy. Like that's not consistent in the slightest. And it hits both. 64% chance to hit both Pokemon. Not ideal. We're back to Dark Void levels. But there we go. It's a decent enough move. And it probably should be used instead of Air Slash. It's annoying. Because Air Slash does about the same damage as a Bleak Windstorm does to one of the opposing Pokemon. Like, the payoff of Bleak Windstorm is better than Air Slash in my opinion, which is annoying. At least you can pair it with Rain Dance and then get 100% accurate Bleak Windstorms, so that's going to be decent. And Rain Dance isn't just benefiting the Tornadus, it will benefit other Pokemon on your team. It's going to be very commonly paired with a Water-type Urshifu to get very powerful Surging Strikes, and then get resistances like weakening fire type attacks for the rest of your team. So it's going to have synergy outside of just, I will make Bleak Windstorm 100% accurate. But it's also going to be worth it in its own regard. So yeah, Tailwind Taunt is a perfectly good combination. We've seen it on lots of Pokemon that run Tailwind, so that you can go super fast, but you can also stop them from going super slow by going for Trick Room / any of the other support stuff to try and make it through the Tailwind. But basically, there's loads of different moves that Tornadus can have. It should have one of its flying stabs, whether that's Bleak Windstorm, whether that's Hurricane, or whether that's Air Slash. Hurricane is still worth running, for sure, because it's going to be much stronger on the single target than Bleak Windstorm is. So if you're in rain, setting your own Rain Dance / having a Pelipper, then Hurricane is still going to be good. If you don't have Rain Dance, or don't have space for Rain Dance, and you want the slightly more consistent way of just doing some damage, then Air Slash is very reasonable as well. The flinch chance is nice as well, but consistency would be Air Slash. Bleak Windstorm is probably objectively better here, annoyingly. Heat Wave, you've seen on the previous generations, or at least the previous generation before Generation 8, it would run Heat Wave. That was mainly on the Life Orb versions of Tornadus, offensive ones, so that you could hit things like Kartanas, but that's not a Pokemon at the moment, so still worth mentioning because it has been used previously. Grass Knot is going to be able to hit a few Pokemon as well. Something like Tinglu would be very heavy, so it's going to take a lot of damage, whereas you would do like no damage to it with Bleak Windstorm. So again, worth considering if you're going for offensive coverage with the Tornadus. Here's some more Prankster moves that can be used on Tornadus. This isn't a recommended moveset. This is just other moves that can go in the taunt slot, because you should always have Flying Stab and Tailwind if you're going with the Prankster version. So then Leer has been used in previous generations just to get that extra bit of damage to put your physical attackers into a KO range. So like paired with Urshifu, Leer will mean that Surging Strike / Wicked Blow will do a lot of damage. Scary Face will allow you to do extra speed control with Prankster on top of your Tailwind, so you really win the speed control war. Icy Wind will still do that, but not at priority, so then you just have to keep that in mind, but it will do damage as well. Like, it will do like half to a Landorus most likely as well, so it will chunk things. Also, Tornadus gets all of the weathers now, which is quite funny. So you can Sunny Day to activate your Photosynthesis with Tornadus. It's going to be a bit awkward with your with Hurricanes if you have that, but Bleak Windstorm, as far as I know, doesn't get affected by Sunny Day. If it does, that's hilarious. But yeah, it can go for a Sunny Day with the Photosynthesis now, which is pretty sweet. So the bulk on the Tornadus, I should mention as well, I did say it should be bulky and didn't say why. That survives a Terra Water Urshifu Surging Strikes with a Mystic Water, and then just put into special defense otherwise. You probably noticed that is one of my main benchmarks going for Urshifu survivals, but there we go. It also has Defiant now, and it has Acrobatics, so it can make use of that. So this is just a set that's worth mentioning. I don't think this is going to be the mainly used Tornadus set at all, but it's just worth mentioning because of Defiant. So Acrobatics is going to be very strong with the Defiant to get the bulk ups. You'll be very difficult to KO as well. And then just for coverage, Brick Break is alright. But Terra Blast Ground would be quite nice because it's also defensive with Tornadus because it makes you immune to electric type attacks. So you can take on Regieleki with this Tornadus, which would be very nice. Grassy Seed is just a way of activating acrobatics immediately, but you might not have a Rillaboom. Who we've seen on the Talonflame that won the Japanese National Championships, just didn't have an item. That'd be fine as well. Like, you can get away with no item on this Tornadus, that'd be perfectly fine. Citrus Berry is worth mentioning, but then if you have the Citrus Berry, you're bulking up until the Citrus Berry activates, and then you can start acrobaticsing, I guess is the word, for the double power. So then, if the opponent knows about the Citrus Berry, they just won't attack Tornadus until they can just get a guarantee KO, so then you won't be doing too much damage. So, Citrus Berry worth mentioning, but probably not worthwhile. The fact that you can go no item is quite funny, and it has now been proved that that is worthwhile. But you're going to see the Prankster one much more commonly. And when I say more commonly, it's going to be very common.